As everyone probably knows, it was recently the 20th anniversary of the September 11 terror attacks. I know this video is late, but too bad, I guess. There is little point describing what these attacks were. You all know already. A very significant event where a lot of innocent people were killed by some very bad people. This event had very significant consequences, leading to a war that only just ended. Although the COVID pandemic has killed many thousands more Americans than the attack, 9/11 will always be significant as a horrifying and shocking attack with significant consequences. But enough with the obvious platitudes. Today I want to talk about the leftist attitude towards these attacks, or more specifically, the debate over whether or not the USA deserved them. I think the answer here is complex and nuance is required. The question itself seems somewhat hostile to nuance, open for many vastly different interpretations, and generally, the idea that the USA deserved the attacks is a fairly bad statement because it isn't very clear by what is meant. I plan on addressing all of this here. I think that fundamentally this statement is needlessly provocative and insensitive. It has a basis in the fact that the attacks were born out of American meddling in the affairs of other countries. It is true that America as a country does not really have much of a right to act surprised when people attack it, after it has been raining terror across the globe for decades. I understand the idea that America made such an attack inevitable with their immoral foreign policy. America's immoral foreign policy antagonized people and was a major cause of the attacks. I understand that this is what most people mean by the statement, and I get what they are saying. I understand that in this sense, the USA could be viewed as deserving the attacks. The attacks were a consequence of a highly immoral US foreign policy. This statement, however, is way too unclear, provocative, and insensitive. It is way too easy to misinterpret. I know that most of the people who say this realize that the people who died in the attacks were innocent civilians, who absolutely did not deserve such a fate. Still, the idea that America deserved 9/11 can easily be viewed as a justification of these deaths. The word deserved in particular implies that the attacks were in some sense just or fair. This makes the point easily misinterpreted, making it look like a downright evil justification of terrorism. This is why I think it is needlessly provocative and unclear, even if it does have a basis in reality. The word deserved is the most important part of this because it implies some sense of justice or fairness behind an obviously evil terrorist attack. The line between interpreting it as a justification or merely an understanding of American foreign policy is too blurred. If we want to talk about the evil of US foreign policy, I don't think needless provocation and insensitivity is the correct way to go. This just alienates people and makes the left look like they are anti-American to a highly insensitive extent. I don't just mean anti-American empire either, I mean anti-American people. Better rhetoric would condemn the evil of the tragedy while acknowledging the evil of US foreign policy, which often plays a major part in causing such vicious attacks. Maybe saying this doesn't sound as cool to you, but at least isn't an insensitive and provocative point that is guaranteed to be interpreted incorrectly. I am not saying we need to remove all punch or provocation from our language. I am just saying that we should be clear with our statements, and we should probably make sure our arguments are clear and difficult to misinterpret, as we should not want to needlessly antagonize people who we should be appealing to.